There's an urban legend whispered by the mischief makers, claiming that in Nordic countries like Finland, women don't bother grooming the lush outskirts of the love cavern. But my dear hunter of untamed otters, let me tell you that myth has more hair than truth. Yes, it's true that up here they're a tad more relaxed about morals and beauty standards, but that doesn't mean they're leaving the otter to run wild. Now, if you're thinking of visiting a mixed sauna, yes, over there men and women step into the heat, just as God brought them into the world. Don't be shocked if you catch sight of an otter in its natural state. But hold on, it's not because everyone does it. It's just that over there it's no big deal. Myth or reality? Well, that depends on the sauna you visit. Dressing like Adam and Eve in Iceland isn't taboo, but it's not exactly a free-for-all either. It's all about context. So don't expect to see it happening on the streets of Reykjavik. However, in settings like the communal showers at a geothermal pool, not only is it acceptable, it's the norm. This habit of feeling little embarrassment when displaying the mighty or modest Viking sword, or the playful, soft and furry otter, dates back to the Viking era. Known for their open-mindedness, the Vikings had no qualms about showing themselves as nature intended. Over time, with the influence of Christianization, attitudes towards these habits began to shift, steering more towards modesty and privacy. But in the 20th century, the advent of geothermal pools revived the old acceptance of public nudity, at least in the context of communal bathing. Today, it's common practice to shower without a swimsuit before entering a public pool or thermal spring, as part of maintaining hygiene standards. As for the type of otters, they vary depending on geographic heritage. For instance, Spanish ones tend to have more fuzz on their legs, while Mediterranean ones sport it on the abdomen. And so you can keep curling up little tufts in different spots, depending on the local predisposition and fashion trends. In fact, running the lawnmower over the Garden of Eden isn't necessarily more hygienic. Keeping a cushiony style can serve as a natural barrier, protecting against infections and excessive friction. However, it's also true that well-trimmed meadows can reduce odors by up to 57%, as juices and sweat have fewer places to get trapped. While these aromas might be enticing for some, depending on their intensity, they can also pose quite the challenge for one's sense of smell. Women's grooming habits when it comes to shaving are deeply tied to cleanliness, customs, and even how they approach their romantic intimacy. The answer goes back centuries. Europeans weren't always so obsessed with a hair-free body. During the Middle Ages, good Catholic women were expected to let their body hair grow thick, abundant and generously, as a sign of femininity. By the late 18th century, European and American women still didn't see grooming the love zone as essential. However, when French barber Jacques Perret invented the first razor for men in 1760, some women began to use it as well. It wasn't until the late 19th century that women on both sides of the Atlantic began to include hair removal as an integral part of their beauty routines. The modern notion that body hair is unfeminine can be traced back to 1871 with Charles Darwin's book, *The Descent of Man*. Darwin's theory of natural selection linked body hair with primitive ancestry and an atavistic return to earlier, less developed forms. Beauty standards come and go, changing over time and being determined by society. But things shift quite a bit when it comes to hair removal. There's a clear consensus among most gentlemen. 89% of the male population claim they prefer their partner hair-free. And when it comes to the most interesting area, that percentage rises to 90%. Thanks for sticking with us till the end. If you enjoyed this video, just hit us with a like and let us know your preference. Do you like them full, fluffy and abundant, or do you prefer the more aerodynamic kind with nothing getting in the way of a full dynamic view? We'll catch you in this content I've left here, or in a few days with a new video. And if you ever come to Finland, please behave yourself. I know you.